You were never meant to feel like time was chasing you. That belief came later. It was learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. Long before calendars ruled the mind, before numbers were attached to age, elders understood something quietly and completely. The body follows the story, the mind tells it about time. They did not fight aging. They did not fear it. They did not measure themselves against it. Instead, they stepped outside of it, a little each day. This knowledge was never written to impress. It was passed softly, often at dawn, sometimes at night, always in stillness. And you already know it. You may not remember where you learned it, but your nervous system does. Your breath does. Your posture does. Even your reflection senses it when you stop rushing past it. Aging accelerates when the mind believes it is late. Late in life, late in opportunity, late in strength. The elders understood this deeply. So the first thing they preserved was time perception. Not by controlling the body, but by calming the inner clock. Here is the first key they practiced daily. It is not exercise, it is not effort, it is not discipline. It is a pause that reorients the entire system. Once a day, preferably in the morning or just before sleep, they would sit or stand and allow their breath to slow without forcing it. No counting, no technique. Just one gentle awareness. I am not late. They did not repeat it like a chant. They let it land. And when the body hears this message consistently, something remarkable happens. The shoulders lower, the jaw softens, the eyes stop scanning for threat. The inner pressure eases. This is not relaxation for comfort. This is biological permission. When the mind stops signaling urgency, the body stops rushing its own decay. This is why people seem to age suddenly after stress, grief, or fear. Time collapses inward, but when time is felt as spacious again, the body reorganizes. Ancient elders noticed that within 3 days, subtle changes appeared. Sleep became deeper, even if shorter. The face rested differently. Movements required less effort. Thoughts felt less heavy. The body felt more inhabited. Nothing dramatic, nothing exaggerated, just a quiet return of strength. This is how longevity actually begins, not with adding years, but with removing pressure. The routine itself is almost invisible. Once a day, you pause for less than a minute. You allow your breath to find its own pace. And you internally acknowledge, I have time. That's all. No visualization, no posture requirement, no belief needed. The power is not in the words, it's in the signal. Your body listens more closely than you were ever told. And over 3 days, the nervous system begins to trust that it is safe to maintain itself rather than rush toward depletion. This is why elders who lived with strength rarely looked hurried, even in movement. Their pace preserved them. They walked as if life was meeting them halfway. You may already feel something shifting just hearing this. A subtle remembering, a loosening. That's not imagination. That's recognition. In the next part, you'll remember the second key. The one elders used to restore vitality, not by doing more, but by standing differently inside themselves. For now, let this settle. You are not late. And the moment your body accepts that, the process has already begun. The elders knew something most people forgot the moment they began rushing through their own lives. Strength does not come from effort alone. It comes from inhabiting the body fully. They believed weakness was not the absence of power, but the absence of presence. Over time, many people begin living slightly ahead of themselves. The mind moves first. The body follows, strained and delayed. This separation is subtle, but it accumulates. You see it in the way shoulders lean forward, in the way the chest collapses inward, in the way breath becomes shallow without being noticed. The elders called this leaving the body early. So each day they practiced a quiet return. Not exercise, not posture correction. A reclaiming. Once a day, often while standing, sometimes while walking slowly, they would bring attention to a single internal alignment. They did not force the body upright. They allowed it to remember how to hold itself when it felt safe. The focus was simple. The weight of the body settling downward, while the chest gently remembers how to rise, not lifted, not pushed, remembered. When you allow your weight to drop into the ground, something surprising happens. The neck lengthens on its own. The spine reorganizes. The breath deepens without command. This is not posture as discipline. This is posture as trust. When the body feels supported by the ground, it stops bracing for time. And when the body stops bracing, energy once used for holding tension becomes available again. This is why elders seem to carry strength quietly. They weren't holding themselves up. They were being held. Within 3 days of this daily remembrance, changes were noticed.
Standing felt easier. Walking required less effort. The face softened. The voice carried more resonance. Fatigue arrived later than usual. Again, nothing dramatic, just a sense that the body was no longer leaking energy. The practice itself lasts no more than a minute. Once a day, you allow yourself to stand or sit and feel the ground receiving your weight. You let the chest widen just enough to breathe freely. And internally, without emphasis, you acknowledge, I am here. Not trying to be present, not working at awareness, just allowing presence to return. The elders understood something profound. A body that is fully inhabited does not age the same way. Because aging accelerates when the body is treated as a vehicle rather than a home. Presence restores circulation. Presence restores coherence. Presence restores dignity. This is why strength returns quietly, not as muscle, but as capacity. By the 3rd day, many felt an unfamiliar ease. They weren't younger, they were less absent. And absence, more than time, is what drains vitality. Now you know the 2 daily remembrances: releasing urgency, returning presence. Together they form a cycle. Time slows, the body listens, strength stabilizes. In the final moments, there was one last understanding the elders shared, not as instruction, but as reassurance. And that is what we'll close with. Epilogue: The Seal. There was never a moment when this was not available to you. The body has been waiting patiently, not for effort, but for permission. You have already begun. Not tomorrow, not in weeks. Now. Because the moment urgency eased and presence returned, the signal changed. And when the signal changes, the body responds. Quietly, faithfully, in its own time. You are not reversing life. You are remembering how to live inside it. And that is how strength carries itself into old age, not loudly, but lastingly.